September 25th, the National Security Presidential Memorandum number 7, NSPM-7, occurred, countering domestic terrorism and organized political violence, Donald Trump. Then it was Pam Bondi on the 29th of the month. United States Attorney General Pam Bondi, Memorandum her own, ending political violence against ICE. But it's about American capitalist Christianity. Ethnostate. Corporations are capitalists. Can't protest Monsanto. FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force being implemented, if any of you are watching, don't do this, to target Trump's political opponents. Donald Trump is a vengeful bastard who goes after individual cities or people because he has a huge amount of power and because he handpicked people to be in the U.S. Supreme Court. You can't prosecute him for anything. And if you're not aware of it, you can't impeach him because high crimes and misdemeanors cannot be charges now. And he's overtly trying to make sure he can have a third term, regardless of over half the population wanting him removed now. The orders obviously target a broad range of groups and views he doesn't like. It's him personally. Trump, if he cares to declare them, can call them un-American activities, like unions, labor organizations, critics of Christianity, pro-immigrant groups, because this is a nation of immigrants. Unless you're a Native American, that's it, shut up. Anti-ICE protesters. And remember, ICE isn't populated by ICE anymore. It's random good old boys and members of whatever group is most fever dreamed about by Trump. And if you don't scream loudly that you're loyal to Trump, you're on a shit list, which is secret. Anybody who wants racial, gender, or whatever justice, any activist, including libertarians and socialists. Hey, one of the groups is one of those that you can salve your guilt for supporting this for, right? Right? Pick one. Are you a specific or non-specific bigot? Anyone who holds views Trump's hates. This is done to intimidate his critics in the name of terrorism and political violence, which, by the way, this authorizes terrorism and political violence. Threatening retaliation to silence people in groups is literally his MO. This is all he does. This is Trump in the form of a rule of law change, or this is without rule of law. One of the other scenarios in without rule of law is where the law is turned on its head. And any of you who are preppers, survivalists, or doomsday preppers, as some of you used to call yourself, you best be believing that your predictions, or more accurately, your self-fulfilling prophecy came true, because you're in one. Yes, I will keep doing that quote from that movie. Laws and Supreme Court decisions authorizing a declaration of foreign terrorist organization explicitly have ruled out domestic designation. You can't file this. The president has no authority to declare a domestic terrorist organization. And this doesn't cite any statute or constitutional provision in support of his action. It's not a action by anybody, it's his. And it cherry picks claimed incidents of violence and intimidation that weren't coordinated campaigns of violence, and in some cases literally didn't fucking happen. Meanwhile, these people are doing a very overt pattern of just showing up at a Walmart and just grabbing anybody that doesn't look like they belong in this neighborhood. I'm going to title the video National Security Presidential Memorandum number 7, and the one from Star Wars, Order number something, and a few other names. Welcome to the purge. Everybody on Trump's side is talking about just ignoring the law constantly now. None of them follow the law. He's been declared by literally everybody who's judged his actions to just keep breaking the law. He's a felon 35 times over, and he's in the Epstein files, as you can see from them not releasing them, and literally willing to shut down the entire government and fuck over everybody's SNAP benefits and fuck over every farmer because that held up all the shit going to help the farmers. All to prevent a vote that would happen on the House floor that would compel them to release the Epstein files, and then they'd have to find some way to, oops, we erased them by accident. I guess bleach bit works on paper. If you are a libertarian, if you criticize any church that's technically under the Christian banner, that means criticizing the bad priests in a specific religion. If you're in favor of the immigrant groups that immigrated here legally because they're kicking out legal immigrants, not illegal immigrants. If you protest the acts of ICE, having literally a Gestapo added to it, swelling its ranks, and having it receive almost the same budget now, even though we're in shutdown, as you would give to, like, the Air Force. If you're still stupidly sitting there saying, this is acceptable, you are not acceptable. Are we done? Anybody who criticizes Trump will be intimidated, attacked, or just murdered. That's what he's going to do. And they'll say, oops, it was an accident. Do I have to quote V for Vendetta? Do I have to do that? Every cautionary tale about this, all the newspeak we hear out of these assholes, and they are in a little psychological and social bubble now. They don't realize you are literally a cartoon villain. Like, really, a rogues gallery member. If you're part of this. Almost everybody he's appointed. Every one of you motherfuckers. And now I'm going to give you National Security Public Memorandum 0. If you're listening. We are anonymous. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. We outnumber you 20-1. Some of us aren't even Americans. But we know the first domino to fall sure as fuck shouldn't be the United States. Every fucking one of you, all the way from some random guy who delivers the mail, all the way up to the president himself, every fucked up thing you posted on social media, which was a giant op and a gigantic trap, especially the ones like Facebook that try to prevent us and fail, try to prevent us from archiving what you did and said. Trump has a list and isn't revealing it. The list that has been created of every person who fever dreamed themselves into believing in this Antichrist, you're visible. We see you. We understand. And I'm not talking for me because I didn't participate in the op. I didn't have to. Not every AI bot is working for the bad guys this time. In this scenario, in this reality. In our John Connor looping himself back through time BS we've got going on here. Yeah, every single one of us geeks on this planet saw the same sci-fi movies you did and saw Fight Club and didn't misinterpret it. We knew what it was about. These were all warnings. 1984, forward and backward to some shit you've never read or heard of. All of you are understood, known, and none of you have been anonymous because you do not know anything about information security or situational awareness on the internet. You're the people we taught. I'm the one who contributed to, I can recognize some lines of it, some of the guides the FBI uses because, like everybody else at the time in Portland or any other city that had the boom happen in Wi-Fi and public telco that was immediately smurfed because, of course, it had to be because they had to prove it was garbage so that you wouldn't have cheap rates. Now you do. Wow, you're using a mesh network now? You call it 5G? Yeah, we had that in 1997. Actually, 1995, but we only told the city about it in 1997. And then they quashed it. Yeah, it's been around a while. It's just called Wi-Fi mesh or just public telco. Go look it up. Maybe you can still find files. We publish our data publicly. But anyway, on with the showboat. Every one of you has failed to realize people like me, people like some of the bad guys, have been working at every single one of these companies. And the only thing important to each side was collect a list of the bad guys. Okay, fine, you did so. And what are you going to do with it? You'd have to show yourselves or restrict them. So that's what the bad guys did on that side. They restrict your speech. You feel it when you post something and it takes a little too long. YouTube is built that way. Every one of them is built that way. And those mechanisms got infiltrated a long time ago. I don't have any control over them. I can't keep people from flagging my videos or making my videos not trend. Okay, fine. That's not important to me. What's important is every single bit of the machine these bastards built has been infiltrated. Oddly enough, by other countries trying to take over our world, take over the internet, and they've succeeded. But there's always at least one ethical hacker in every bunch, and they have to root them out. And in Russia, they can walk them in the street and shoot them. But it doesn't do anything about the bot routines. If you believe that you can get away with not being dragged before a tribunal and told it doesn't matter if you were just following orders or your heart, you're still a Nazi. If you're not getting this at this point, this is going to be the one warning no one's going to care about. But I have to give fair warning. And I don't have to do anything. I'm a retired geek. I've made sure that every record about me is gone. Hell, the FBI may not even have that listing anymore that says anything about me writing some of their fucking protocols on how just not to fuck up a computer before the actual geek shows up. Literally, hey, if any of you are still in the FBI or whatever, any of you there, do you know the line at the top that I made them by rule have to say, don't fucking touch it in bold letters? That had to be a minimum of an inch tall. I didn't care if it was a little postage stamp of a page. Minimum, don't fucking touch it. Rule 2, don't fucking touch it. It's a Fight Club reference. All rules are rule number 1. You remember reading it? Yeah, I did that. It's always the same rules. I don't think they've ever changed them. Don't fuck with the evidence. Let the expert touch it. No, you're not an expert. If you think you're an expert, you're not. The expert's the guy who doesn't really think he's good enough to do the job but does it great. Yeah. Competency test. Ego removed. Surgically if necessary. People like me are sitting on your networks making sure that none of you are anonymous. Did you really think in this modern world you wouldn't be dragged before a tribunal, judged and convicted for doing this shit? We're at that point. You know, the Sith has done the general order, whatever. Here we are. I'm not kidding. Right before it all goes off the cliff, it has to have the brakes hit. And you're the pads. If you're one of the bad guys, acknowledge it and then stop. Publicly take down all of your social networks where you've been talking about this stuff in only one way. Take down every pro-Trump statement. It'll affect the algorithm. Piss them off. And don't say you're with them. You don't want to be with him. He's finally shown himself. Trump is the Antichrist. Don't be one of his little daemons. Look up the spelling for that word. I'm not going to include a link. If you don't put on the brakes, we will. You do not want to season the brakes. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. We are your removable object and your irresistible force.